Here's a story you might not hear on the mainstream media. Chinese communist officials cracked down on pro-democracy leaders in Hong Kong this weekend, arresting a man named Lee Chuk-yan, a prominent pro-democracy activist, and 14 other anti-communist dissidents in Hong Kong. The Chinese communists are trying to silence dissent and to make sure that only pro-Beijing communists are elected in Hong Kong's Legislative Council elections upcoming in September. It's also convenient that in Hong Kong you can't run for office if you've served more than a 3-month jail sentence. So arresting these pro-democracy activists, again, essentially disqualifies them from serving in government if they even live through the inevitable torture being inflicted on them by the Chinese Communist government right now. And this crackdown is thanks to COVID-19. If it weren't for COVID-19, the people of Hong Kong would take to the streets in protest, and the Chinese communists wouldn't get away with this. In other words, the Chinese Communist government is an evil threat to the free world. The Chinese Communist Party unleashed a deadly virus, covered it up, lied about it, enlisted the World Health Organization to parrot their propaganda, which led to a global pandemic. The Chinese Communist Party disappeared doctors who tried to warn the public about the virus and ignored Taiwan's early detection of human-to-human transmission, and they continue to lie about the origins of the virus, which probably came from the Wuhan lab, and the total death toll. The vast majority of Americans blame China for the spread of COVID-19, and rightly so. And now China is using the worldwide fear of COVID-19 that they unleashed on the world as a cover to arrest pro-democracy activists in Hong Kong, knowing that nobody will hold them accountable. It's time to hold the Chinese Communist Party accountable. 6 months ago, the NBA kowtowed to Chinese communist pressure and fears of losing their fat Chinese paycheck and refused to stand with the protesters in Hong Kong who were standing up to the brutality of the Chinese communist regime. Enough. The Chinese communists must be forced to pay reparations to all the nations devastated by the Chinese coronavirus. If the Chinese Communist Party had not lied about the virus at the outset, 95% of global infections could have been avoided. This, according to a British study. We must sever our medical supply chain with China. No longer can we rely on Chinese communists for drugs, PPE, or medical supplies. We must move our manufacturing back to the United States. The Chinese communists must not profit from U.S. ingenuity while they silence, torture, and kill in the name of communism. And we must stand with the pro-democracy forces in Hong Kong, especially since nobody else in the world will.